What I find most astonishing, aside from that belief of mine, which never ceases to surprise me by the very fact of its surprising lack of unpleasantness, the belief that I might very easily, as they say, lose my mind one day. Not that I suspect I'm about to, or am even nearby.
There is no saner woman on earth, Agnes.
For I'm not that sort. Merely that it is not beyond happening, some gentle loosening of the moorings, sending the balloon adrift. And I think that is the only outweighing thing. Adrift. Becoming a stranger in the world. Quite uninvolved. For I never see it as violent. Only adrifting. What are you looking for, Tobias?
We'll all go mad before you. The anisette.
Thank you, darling. What I find most astonishing, aside, as I said, from that speculation, and I wonder, too, sometimes, if I'm the only one of you to admit it, not that I may go mad, but that each of you wonders if each of you might not. Why on earth do you want the anisette?
I thought it might be nice.
Sticky, I'll do cognac, supposed to be healthy. The speculation. Oh, the assumption, I suppose, that if it occurs to you that you might be, then you're not. But I've never been much comforted by it. Follows to my mind that since I speculate, I might, someday, or early evening, I think more likely, some autumn dusk, go quite mad, then I very well might. Some autumn dusk, Tobias at his desk, looks up from all those awful bills and seizes Agnes, mad as a hatter, chewing the ribbons on her dress.
Cognac.
Yes. Agnes sit by the fire, her mouth full of ribbons, her mind aloft adrift. Nothing to do with the poor old thing, but put her in a bin somewhere. Sell the house, move to Tucson, say, and pine in the good sun and live to be 104. Thank you, darling.
Cognac is sticky, too.
But it's nice to sit by me,
To my mad lady, ribbons dangling.
And, of course, I haven't worn the ribbon dress since Julia's remarriage. Second? Oh, no. First. Tom, not Charlie. Comfortable?
For a little.
What astonishes me most, aside from my theoretically healthy fear, no, not fear, oh, silly of me, healthy speculation that I might someday become an embarrassment to you. What I find most astonishing in this world, and with all my years, is Claire.
Claire?
That anyone, be they one's sister or not, could be so, well, I don't want to use an unkind word, because we're cozy here, aren't we?
Maybe.
As the saying has it, the one thing sharper than a serpent's tooth is a sister's ingratitude.
The saying does not have it that way.
Should. Why are you moving?
It's getting uncomfortable.
Things get hot, move off, huh? Yes?
I'm not as young as either of us once was.
I'm as young as the day I married you, though I'm certain I don't look it, because you're a very good husband. Most of the time. But I was talking about Claire, was beginning to.
Yes, you were.
If I were to list the mountain of my burdens, if I had a thick pad and a month to spare, that bending my shoulders most, with the possible exception of Julia's trouble with marriage, would be your... It must be instinctive, I think, or reflex, that's more like it. Your reflex defense of everything that Claire...
Stop it, Agnes.
You're going to throw something at me, a glass? My goodness, I hope not. That awful anisette all over everything.
No.
What then?
I shall sit very quietly.
As always.
Yes. And I shall will you to apologize to your sister for what I must in truth tell you I thought.
To Claire. I've spent my adult life apologizing for her. I will not double the humiliation by apologizing to her.
One does not apologize to those for whom one must.
Neat.
Succinct, but one of the rules of an aphorism.
An epigram, I thought.
An epigram is usually satiric, and you?
And I am grimly serious, yes.
I fear so.
To revert, specifically, from Claire to her effect. What would you do were I to spill my marbles?
Put you in a bin somewhere, sell the house and move to Tucson. Pine in the hot sun and live forever.
I bet you would.
Hurry, though.
Oh, I'll try. Won't be simple paranoia, though, I know that. I've tried so hard to... You know how little I vary. Goodness, I can't even raise my voice except in the most spectacular of events. And I find that both joy and sorrow work their wonders on me. More evenly, slowly, within than most. A suntan rather than a scalding. There are no mountains in my life, no chasms. It is a rolling, pleasant land. Verdant, my darling. Thank you.
We do what we can.
Our motto. If we should ever go downhill join things, we must have that put in Latin. Our motto, we do what we can. On your blazers over the mantel. Maybe we could do it in the linen as well.
You think I should go to Claire's room?
No. Either she will be down or not.
I thought Claire was much better tonight. I didn't see any need for you to give us such a going over.
Claire was not better tonight, honestly, Tobias.
I thought she was.
Well, she was not.
Still?
I've decided, all things considered, that I shall not induce that all the years we've put up with each other's wiles and crotchets have earned us each other's company. And I promise you as well that I shall think good thoughts, healthy ones, positive, to ward off madness should it come by uninvited.
You mean I have no hope of Tucson?
None.
Hélas.
You have the hope only of growing even older than you are in the company of your steady wife, your alcoholic sister-in-law, and occasional visits from our melancholy Julia. That is what you have, my dear Tobias. Will it do?
It will do.
I've never doubted that it would. Hark. Did I hear someone?
Oh, there you are. I said to Agnes just a moment ago that...
I must apologize, Agnes. I'm very sorry.
But what are you sorry for, Claire?
That my nature is such as to bring out the full force of your brutality.
Look now, I think we
If you
can
come
do
to the
without
dinner
any
table
of this
unsteady,
sort of-
if when you try to say good evening and weren't the autumn colors lovely today, you are nothing but vowels, if one smells the vodka on you from across the room, and don't tell me again, either of you, the vodka leaves nothing on the breath, if you are expecting it, if you are sadly and wearily expecting it, it does, if these conditions exist, persist, then the reaction of one who is burdened by her love is not brutality, though it would be excused, believe me, not brutality at all, but the souring side of love. If I scold, it is because I wish I need. If I am sharp, it is because I am neither less nor more than human. And if I am to be accused once again of making too much of things, let me remind you that it is my manner and not the matter. I apologize for being articulate. Tobias, I'm going to call Julia, I think. Is it 1 or 2 hours difference? I can never recall.
3.
Ah, yes. Well, be kind to Claire, dear. She is injured.
Ah, well.
I never know whether to applaud or cry. Or rather, which would be more appreciated, expected.
You are a great damn fool.
Yes. Why is she calling Julia?
Do you want a quick brandy before she comes back?
Not at all. A public one. Fill the balloon half full and I shall sip it ladylike. And when she comes gliding in, I shall lie on the floor, balance the glass on my head, which will give her occasion for another paragraph. And you, your ineffectual stop-it-nows.
You are a great damn fool.
Is Julia having another divorce?
Hell, I don't know.
She's only your daughter. Thank you. I imagine, from what I have watched, that it is come home time. Why don't you kill Agnes?
Oh, no, I couldn't do that.
Well, better still, why don't you wait till Julia separates and comes home all confused and sullen and take a gun and blow all our heads off? Agnes first, through respect, of course, then poor Julia, and if you have the kindness for it, me.
You really want me to shoot you?
Shoot Agnes first and I'll think about it.
But it would have to be an act of passion, out of my head and all that. I doubt I could stand around with the gun smoking, Julia locked in her room screaming, wait for you to decide if you wanted it or not.
But if you don't shoot Agnes, how do I know whether I want to live? An act of passion.
Well, yes.
Oh, that is funny.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. Darling Tobias. I just can't see you playing the role, that's all. Outraged, maddened into action, proceeding by reflex, standing there in front of the judge, stolid, predictable Tobias. It all went blank, Your Honor. There I was, sitting deep in my chair, sipping my... What is that?
Anisette.
Anisette. Really, Anisette?
I like it.
Sticky. There I was, Your Honor, sitting in my chair, sipping my anisette, and the next thing I know, they're all lying in separate rooms with their heads blown off. I have absolutely no recollection of it. Can you imagine that, Tobias?
Of course, if you were all dead, your brains lying around in the rugs, there would be no one to say that it wasn't an act of passion.
Leave me to last. A breeze may rise and stir the ashes.
Who is that?
No one, I think, though it should be.
Why don't you go back to your thing, your alcoholics thing?
Because I didn't like the people.
What's it called?
Anonymous.
Yes, that. Why don't you go back?
Why don't you mind your own hooting business?
I'm sorry, Claire.
Because.
It was better.
Be a good brother-in-law. It's only the first one I'm not supposed to have.
I thought it was better.
Thank you. You mean Agnes thought it was better?
No, I thought so too, that it would be.
I told you, not our type, nothing in common with them. Do you remember When you used to go off to business before you became a squire, parading around in your joggers, confusing the gardener.
I have never done any such thing.
Before all that, when you used to spend all your time in town with your business friends, your indistinguishable, if not necessarily similar friends, what did you have in common with them?
Well, everything. Our business, we all mixed well. We're friends, away from the office, too. Clubs, an environment, I guess.
But what did you have in common with them? Even Harry. Your best friend in all the world, as far as you know, because you haven't met everyone. You switching from Anisette?
It doesn't go for a long time. All right?
Doesn't matter to me. Even your dearest friend, Harry. Tell me, dear Tobias, what did you have in common with him?
Please, Claire.
What do you have in common with them? Outside of the coincidence of having cheated on your wives in the same summer with the same woman. Girl? Woman? What except that? Hardly a distinction. I believe she was upended the whole of July.
If you'll forgive me, Claire, common practice is hardly
that
my...
poor girl, whatever she was, upended the whole of that very hot, wet July. The distinction would have been to have been the one or two of the very, very, oh God, many similar, who did not upend that poor, unfamiliar thing, that dry, very wet July.
Please, Agnes.
Of course, you only had the wanton once, while dear friend Harry, I have it from the horse's mouth, was on top for good and keeps twice. And a third try that wasn't so hot in the gardener's shed amongst the mulch and whatever it is, and
Shut
the
your
orange
mouth.
bus. All right. What was her name?
I don't remember.
Doesn't matter. She's gone. Would you give dear friend Harry the shirt off your back?
I suppose I would. He is my best friend.
How sad does that make you?
Not much. Some. Not much.
No one to listen to Bruckner with, no one to tell you that you're sick of golf, no one to tell you that at times you're suddenly frightened and you don't know why.
Frightened? No.
All right. Shall I tell you what happened the last time I climbed the steps to that fancy alky club? Why I have not gone back, and what I have not in common with those people?
Sure.
Oh, poor Tobias, sure. Light me a cigarette. And then I shall have everything I need. A sip, a smoke, and a good, hard search.
Comfy?
Very. Do you remember the spring I moved out? When I was so sick with the stuff. Drinking like the familiar fish, which was such an embarrassment to everyone. And you and Agnes moved me to that apartment near the station. And Agnes was so very good about coming to see me. Sorry.
When will it all just go in the past? Forget it, son.
When all the defeats are done, admitted, when memory takes over and corrects fact, makes it all tolerable, when Agnes lies on her deathbed.
Do you know Agnes has such wonderful control? I haven't seen her cry for the longest time, no matter what.
Warn me when she's coming, and I'll act drunk. Pretend you're very sick, Tobias, like you were with that stomach business. But pretend your insides feel all green and stink and mixed up, and your eyes hurt, and you're half deaf, and your brain keeps turning off, and you have peripheral neuritis, and you can hardly walk, and you hate. You hate with the same stinking green sickness you think your bowels have turned into. Yourself and everybody. Hate. But oh God, you want love. Love, so badly. Comfort and snuggling is what you really mean, of course. But you hate. And you notice with a sort of detachment that amuses you, you think that you're more of an animal every day. You snarl. You grab for things. Hide them. Can't remember where you've hid them. Like not very bright dogs. You wash less, prefer to be washed. And once or twice, you've even soiled your bed. And you lie in it because you can't move. Pretend all that. You don't like that, do you, Tobias?
I don't know why you want...
You want to know what it's like to be an alkie, don't you, boy?
Sure.
Well, then you pretend all that. So, the guy you're spending your bottles with starts you going to old AA. And you sit there in the alky cub listening to the better ones not recovered. Because once an alky, always. You better remember that. Or you're gone the first time you pass a saloon. You watch the better ones get up and tell their stories.
Once you drop, you can't come back up part way, but never really back again. Always descent.
Well, that's life, baby.
You are a great damn fool.
But I am not an alcoholic. I am not now, and I never was.
All the promise, all the chance.
It would be so much simpler if I were an alcoholic. So one night, 1 month sometime, I'd had one martini. It was a test to see if I could. Which, given my stunning self-discipline, had become 3. And I felt rather daring, nicely detached, a little bigger than life. Not snarling yet. And I marched more or less straight to the front of the room, the hall, and faced my peers. I looked them all over, trying so hard. Grit and guilt failing. Trying again and loss. And I had a moment's sweeping pity and disgust. And I almost cried, but I didn't. Like sister, by God. And I heard myself say in my little girl voice, there were a lot of different me's by then, I am a alcoholic. My name is Claire, and I am an alcoholic. You try it.
My name is Claire, and I am an alcoholic.
A alcoholic.
A alcoholic.
My name is Claire, and I am an alcoholic. Now, I am supposed to go on, and tell them how bad I was and didn't want to be, and how it happened, and what I wanted to happen, and would they help me to help myself? But I stood there for 10 seconds, maybe. And then I curtsied. I made my little girl curtsy, and then on my little girl feet, I padded back to my chair.
Did they laugh at you?
An agnostic in the Holy of Holies doesn't get much camaraderie. A little patronizing, maybe. Oh, they were taken by the vaudeville, don't misunderstand me. The one lady was nice. She came up to me later and she said, "Well, you've taken the first step, dear."
Well, that was nice of her.
But she didn't say the first step towards what? Sanity, insanity, revelation, self-deception.
Change sometimes, no matter what.
Count on you, Tobias. Snappy phrase every time. But it hooked me. The applause, the stage presence. That beginning. No school taught had more gold stars for never missing class. I went. Oh God, I did.
But stop.
Until I learned, being a slow student in my young, old, middle age, slowly, that I was not, nor ever had been, an alcoholic, or Anne either. What I did not have in common with those people, that they were sick, and I was merely willful.
I've talked to Julia.
Ah, how is she?
Why? What an odd glass to put a soft drink in. Tobias, you have a quiet sense of humor after all.
No, Agnes.
Yes, not.
Well, it can't be brandy. Tobias is a grown-up and knows far
How
better
to
than
you, sweet sister. Not health, persistence. In good, hard brandy, Jean Canu.
Serve you right, my dear Tobias. If I were to go away, drift off, you wouldn't have a woman left about you. Only Claire and Julia, not even people, would serve you right.
But I'm not an alcoholic.
She can drink a little.
I will not tolerate it. I will not have you. Oh, God. I wouldn't mind for a moment if you filled your bathtub with it, lowered yourself in it, drowned. I rather wish you would. Give me the peace of mind to know you could do something well, thoroughly. If you want to kill yourself, then do it right.
Please,
What I can't stand is the selfishness. Those of you who want to die and take your whole lives doing it.
Your wife is a perfectionist. They're very difficult to live with, those people.
She is not an alcoholic, she says. She can drink some.
I'm not an alcoholic.
Well, we think that's very nice. We shall all rest easier to know that it is willful, that the vomit and the tears, the muddy mind, the falls and the absences, the cigarettes out on the tabletops, the calls from the club to come and get you, please, that it is all willful. If you are not an alcoholic, you are beyond forgiveness.
Oh, but I've been that for a long time, haven't I,
If
sweetheart?
we change for the worse with drink, we are an alcoholic. It is as simple as that.
Who is to say?
I.
If we are to live on Tobias' charity, we are subject to the will of his wife. If we were asked at our father's dying...
Those are the ground rules.
Tobias? Nothing? Are those the ground rules? Nothing? Too dried up, too settled? All right. Very well, Agnes, you win. I shall be an alcoholic. And what are you gonna do about it?
Tobias. You will be unhappy to know it, I suppose, or of mixed emotions, certainly, but Julia is coming home.
Naturally.
Yes?
She's leaving Doug, which is no surprise to me.
But wasn't Julia happy? You never
Well,
told
if
me
Julia were
anything.
happy, she would not be coming home. I don't want her here, God knows. I mean, she's welcome.
Here we go. Right on schedule every 3 years.
This is her home. We are her parents, the two of us. We have our obligations to her. And I've reached an age, Tobias, when I wish we were always alone, just you and I, without hangers-on or anyone.
Well, I'm not going.
But if she and Doug are through, and I'm not suggesting that she is in the right, then her place is properly hers. For some, it is not.
1, 2, 3, 4, down they go.
Well, I would like to talk to Doug.
I wish you would. If you would talk to Tom or Charlie. Yes, even Charlie or
Phil.
Phil might have done some good. If you've decided to assert yourself finally. Too late, I imagine.
Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Julia might, at the very least, come to think her father cares. And that might be help, if not consolation.
Well, I'll talk to Doug.
Why don't you invite him here? And while you're at it, why don't you bring all the others along?
You might talk to Julia, too. You don't very much.
Yes.
Philip loved to gamble. Charlie loved the boys. Tommy went for women. Douglas... You stop that! I am here after all. I do exist.
Why don't you go off on a vacation, Claire? Now that Julia's coming home again. Why don't you go to Kentucky or Tennessee and visit the distilleries? Or why don't you lock yourself in your room or find yourself a bar with an apartment in the back?
Or Agnes, why don't you die?
If I saw some point to it, some reason, chance, if I thought I might break through to her and say, Julia, but then what would I say? Julia, then nothing.
If we do not love someone, never have loved them.
No. There can be silence, even having.
Do you really want me dead, Claire?
Wish, yes. Want, I don't know, probably. Although I might regret it if I had it.
Remember the serpent's tooth, Tobias.
The cat that I had.
Hmm?
The cat that I had when I was a year or so before I met you. She was very old. I'd had her since I was a kid. She must have been 15 or more. An alley cat. She didn't like people very much, I think. When people came, she'd pick up and walk away. She liked me, or rather I could see that when I was alone with her, she was content. I don't know if she was happy, but she was content.
Yeah.
And how the thing happened, I don't really know. One day I realized that she no longer liked me. No, that's not right. One day I realized that she must have stopped liking me some time before. And one evening, I was sitting alone home, and I was suddenly aware of her absence. Not just that she wasn't in the room with me, but that she hadn't been in rooms with me, watching me shave, just about for... And I couldn't place how long. She hadn't gone away, you understand. Or rather, she had, but she hadn't run off. I knew she was around. I remembered I'd caught sight of her from time to time, under a chair moving out of her room. And it was only when I realized something had happened that I could give any pattern to the things that I'd noticed. She didn't like me anymore. It was that simple.
But she was old.
No, it wasn't that. She didn't like me anymore. I tried to force myself on her.
Well, whatever do you mean?
Well, I'd close her in a room with me. I'd pick her up. I'd make her sit in my lap. I would make her stay there when she didn't want to. Didn't work. She'd abide it, but she'd get down when she could. Go away.
Maybe she was ill.
No, she wasn't. I had her to the vet. She didn't like me anymore. And one night, I was fixed on it now. Had her in the room with me, sitting on my lap. For the what? The 5th time the same evening? She lay there with her back to me. And she wouldn't purr. And I knew that she was just waiting until she could get down. And I said to her, damn you, you like me. God damn it, you stop this. I haven't done anything to you. And I shook her. I had my hands around her shoulders, and I shook her. And she bit me hard, and she hissed at me. And so I hit her. With my open hand, I hit her, smack right across the head. I hated her.
Did you hurt her badly?
Yes. Well, no, not badly. I must have hurt her ear some. She shook her head for a day or so. And you see, there was no reason. She and I had lived together. We'd been, well, you know, friends, and there was no reason. And I hated her for that. I hated her. I suppose because I was being accused of something. Of failing. I hadn't been cruel to her by design. And if I'd neglected her, well, my whole life was... And I resented it. I resented being judged. Being betrayed.
What did you do?
I had her killed.
Well, you had her put to sleep. She was old. You had her put to sleep.
I had her killed. I took her to the vet, and he took her in the back, and he gave her an injection, and he killed her. I had her killed.
Well, what else could you have done? There was nothing to be done.
I might have tried longer. I might have gone on as long as cats live the same way. I might have worn a hair shirt, locked myself in the house with her, done penance for something. For what? God knows.
You probably did the right thing. Distasteful alternatives. The less ugly choice.
Was it?
Is that a car on the drive?
If we do not love someone, never have loved someone.
Oh, stop that. Love is not the problem. You love Agnes. Agnes loves Julia. Julia loves me. And I love you. We love each other. We do. We all love each other.
Yes?
Yes. To the depths of our self-pity and our greed. What else but love?
Error?
Quite possibly. Love and error.
Edna! Harry! What a surprise! Why don't you take off your things? Come in. Tobias. It's Harry and Edna. Harry and Edna.
Why, Edna!
Hello, Tobias.
Well, Harry.
Hello, Edna.
Hello, dear Claire.
Hello, Harry.
Evening, Claire.
We were just having a cordial. Sit down. Have you been out? To the club?
I like this room.
To the club?
How are you, Harry?
Pretty well, Claire. Not as good as I'd like, but
Harry's been having his shortness of breath again.
I can't breathe sometimes for just a bit.
Well, 2 sets of tennis, you know.
What have you done to the room, Agnes?
Oh, the summer things are on.
Of course.
Have you been to the club?
I was talking to Edna about having our books done in leather, bound.
Oh, yeah.
The question, unless I'm going deaf from all the alcohol, was, have you all been to the club?
I wondered.
Why, no.
Why, no.
For I thought perhaps you'd drop by here on your way from there.
No.
Or perhaps that we were having a party and I lost it.
No, we were just sitting home.
Agnes.
Just sitting home.
Well,
Well, glad you're here, party or not.
Good to see you, Tobias.
How's Julia?
Wrong question. May I have some brandy, please, Tobias?
she's coming home, I'm afraid.
Oh, not again.
Just can't keep that one married, I guess.
Oh, Agnes, what a shame.
Gee, that's too bad.
Why'd you come, Harry?
Please, Claire. We're glad you're here. We're glad you came to surprise us.
Yes.
We were sitting home, just sitting home.
We're glad to see you.
What happened, Harry?
Claire, please. I don't see why people have to be questioned when they've come for a friendly.
Harry wants to tell you, sis.
Harry?
We were sitting home.
Can I get you a drink, Harry?
We thought of going to the club, but it's so crowded on a Friday night.
Yeah, with the canasta party and getting ready for the dance tomorrow.
We didn't want to do that, and I've been tired, and we didn't want to do that.
Harry's been tired this whole week.
So we had dinner home and thought we'd stay.
Rest.
Of course. I will not.
Please.
Go on, Harry.
So we were sitting. Edna was doing that panel she works on,
My needlepoint.
and I was reading my French. I've got it pretty good now. Not the accent, but the words.
And then? And then?
I don't know quite what happened then. It was all very quiet. We were all alone, and then nothing happened, but nothing at all happened, but
We got frightened.
we got scared.
We were frightened.
There was nothing, but we were very scared.
We were terrified.
We were scared. It was like being lost, very young again, with the dark and lost. There was no thing to be frightened of, but
We were frightened and there was nothing.
we couldn't stay there. So we came here. You're our very best friends.
In the whole world.
No, Edna.
We couldn't go anywhere else, so we came here.
Well, you did the right thing, of course.
Sure.
Can I go to bed now, please?
Bed?
We can't go back there.
Please.
Bed?
You're our
I'm so tired.
best friends in the world. Tobias?
Of course we are, Harry.
Oh, please.
Of course you can. There's Julia's room. Come with me, dear. Tobias.
Edna? Harry? There was no one else we could go to.
I was wondering when it would begin. When it would start.
Start? Start? What?
You don't know yet? You will.
Do you think I like it? Do you?
Julia, please.
Do you? Do you think I enjoy it?
Julia.
You think it gives me some sort of martyr's pleasure? Do you?
Will you be still?
Well?
There is a house full of people.
Oh, yes. What about that? I come home, my room is full of Harry and Edna. I've no place to put my things.
Yeah, go to Tobias's room. He'll sleep with me.
That'll be different.
What did you say, young lady?
I said that would be nice.
You did not say any such thing. You said.
What are they doing here? Don't they have a house anymore? Has the market gone bust without my knowing it? I may have been out of touch, but...
Just let it be.
Why are they here?
They are frightened. Haven't you heard of it?
They're what?
They are frightened. Now, will you let it be?
What are they frightened of? Harry and Edna frightened?
I don't know yet.
Well, haven't you talked to them about it? I mean, for God's sake.
No, I haven't.
Well, what have they done all day? Stayed up in their room? My room? Not come down? Locked in?
Yes?
Yes, what?
Yes, they have stayed up in their room all day.
My room?
Your room. Now, let it be.
No.
Please.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mother. I'm sorry for screeching.
I am too old, as I remember, to remember what it is like to be a daughter. If my poor parents in their separate heavens will forgive me, but I'm sure it's simpler than being a mother.
I said I was sorry.
I don't recall if I asked my poor mother that. I do wish sometimes that I had been born a man.
Not so hot.
Their concerns are so simple. Money and death. Making ends meet until they meet. The end. If they knew what it was like to be a wife, a mother, a lover, a homemaker, a nurse, a hostess, a agitator, a pacifier, a truth-teller, a deceiver.
Da-da-dee, da-da-dee.
There's a book out, I believe. A new one. By one of the 30 million psychiatrists now practicing in this land of ours. A book which opines that the sexes are reversing, or coming to resemble each other too much at any rate. It's got to be read and disbelieved, for it disturbs our sense of well-being. If the book is right, and I suspect it is, then I would be no better off as a man, would I?
No, not at all.
Oh, there is nowhere to rest the weary head, or whatever. How are you, my darling?
What?
How are you, my darling?
How is your darling? Well, I was trying to tell you before you shut me up with Harry and Edna hiding upstairs.
right.
I will try to tell you, Mother, once again, before you've turned into a man.
I shall try to hear you out. But if I feel my voice changing in the middle of your rant, you will have to forgive my male prerogative If I become uncomfortable, look at my watch or jiggle the change, and where do you think you're going?
You go straight to hell.
Now, what's going on here?
Will you shut her up?
Well,
Well, there you are, Julia. Your father can safely leave the room now, I think. Hello, my darling. Your mother has arrived. Talk to him. Your daughter is in need of consolation or a great cuffing around the ears. I don't know which to recommend.
Have Harry and Edna...
No, they have not.
Well, I thought maybe...
Well, what was that all about?
As they say, I haven't the faintest.
Oh,
Evening papers?
yes, you want it?
Anything happy?
My daughter's home?
Any other joys?
Sorry. No. Small wars, large anxieties. Our dear Republicans as dull as ever. A teenage marijuana nest not far from here. I never had marijuana in my entire life.
Want some?
Wasn't fashionable.
What the hell do Harry and Edna want?
Just let it be.
Didn't you talk to them today about it? I mean...
No, they weren't down when I went off to the club. And
Good old golf.
don't ride me, Julia. I warn you.
I've never had any marijuana either. Aren't I a good old girl?
Either that or slow.
Great Christ, what the hell did I come home to? And why? Both of you snotty, mean...
Look! There are some times when it all gathers up too much.
Sure.
Sometimes when it's going to be Agnes and Tobias, not just Mother and Dad, right? Sometimes when the allowances aren't going to be made. What are you doing, biting off your fingernails now?
It broke off.
There are some times when it's all too much. I don't know what the hell Harry and Edna are doing sitting up in that bedroom. Claire's drinking. She and Agnes are at each other like a couple of...
Sisters?
What? The goddamn government's at me over some deductions. And you.
And me, yes.
This isn't the first time, you know. The first time you've come back here with one of your goddamn marriages on the rocks. 4, count them.
I know how many marriages I've gotten myself into.
4. You expect to come back here and nestle into being 15 and misunderstood each time? You're 36 years old, for God's sake.
And you are 100 easily.
36 each time, dragging your, I was going to say pride, your marriage with you like some Raggedy Ann doll by the foot. You fill this house with your whining.
I don't ask to come back here.
You belong here. Well, now that I've taken out on my only daughter the disgust of my declining years, I'll mix a very good and very strong martini. Join me?
When I was a very little girl, after I'd gotten over my 2-year burn at suddenly having a brother, may his soul rest. When I was still a little girl, I thought you were a marvel. Saint, sage, daddy, everything. And then as the years turned and I reached my somewhat angular adolescence.
5 to 1 or more.
Then as the years turned, poor old man, you sank to cipher. You've stayed there, I'm afraid. Very nice, but ineffectual. Essential, but not really thought of. Gray non-eminence. And now you've changed again. Sea monster, ran. Nasty, violent, absolutely human man. As you make it, 5 to 1 or better.
I made it about 7, I think.
Your transformations amaze me. How can I have changed so much? Or is it really you?
I told Agnes I'd talk to Doug. If you think that'd do any good, by golly, Dad, that's a good martini.
You really want to talk to Doug. You won't get anywhere. The compulsives you can get somewhere with, or the illusion of getting. The gamblers, the fags, the lechers.
Of this world.
Yes, you can have the illusion because they're after something. A jackpot, somehow. Break the bank, find the boy, climb the babe, something.
You do pick 'em.
Do I?
Hmm?
Do I pick 'em?
Well, you may have been pushed on Charlie.
Ah, poor old Charlie.
Well, for Christ's sake, if you miss him so much.
I do not miss him. Well, yes, I do, but not that way. Because he seems so like what Teddy would have been.
Your brother would not have grown up to be a fag.
Who's to say?
I.
Do I breathe gin?
Oh, darling.
My sweet Claire.
Oh, you. Oh.
I must say, the Welcome Home Committee was pretty skimpy, you and Daddy gone.
Now, I said, do I breathe gin?
You do.
Well, you don't look too bad for a quadruple amputee, I must say. Are you gonna make me a whatever, Tobias? Besides, my darling, it's getting to be rather a habit, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose so.
Then, I shall make my own.
Sit down, Claire. I'll do it.
Well, I wouldn't want to tax you now. Well, I had an adventure today. I went into town, thought I'd shake 'em up a little, so I tried to find me a topless bathing suit.
You didn't.
Yes, I did. I went into, what's the name, straight up to the swimwear, as they call it, department. Got me an 1890s schoolmistress type who wondered what she could do for me, and I felt like telling her, not much, sweetheart.
Are you sure you wouldn't rather have a...
Very. But I said, hello there. I'm in the market for a topless swimsuit.
Really, Claire?
I don't know what you mean, she said. I said, oh, certainly you do. No top, stops at the waist, the latest thing, lots of freedom. Oh, yes, she said. I'm afraid we don't carry those. Well, in that case, I told her, do you have any separates? Ah, those we carry.
Shall I bring it, or will you come for it?
You bring. I said, I'll buy the bottoms of one of those. And, she thought for a minute, and then she said, with ice in her voice, what shall we do with the tops? Well, I said, why don't you save them? Maybe bottomless swimsuits will be in next year. And the poor sweet thing gave me a look. I couldn't tell it was either a D- or she was going to send me home with a letter to my mother. And she said sort of far away, I think you need the manager. And off she walked.
What were you doing buying a bathing suit in October anyway?
Oh, Dad. No, that's a man's question. That's a good martini.
Truth will get you nowhere. Why?
Why? Well, maybe I'll go on a trip somewhere.
That would please Agnes.
As few things would. No, what I meant was maybe Toby will walk in one day trailing travel folders, rip his tie off and announce he's fed up to there with the north, the east, the suburbs, the regulated, great, gray, dwindling life before him, and has bought him an island off Paraguay.
Which has no seacoast.
Yes, way off. Has bought him this island and is taking us all to that, to hack through the whatever, build us an enormous lean-to, all of us, take us away, where it's always good and happy.
Would you, Dad?
it's too late. Or something.
Well, maybe I just simply wanted a topless bathing suit. No? Well, then maybe it's more complicated yet. I mean, Claire couldn't find herself a man if she tried. And here comes Julia home from the wars.
You could find a man.
Oh, indeed, I have found several. Briefly. And none my own.
Julia, don't you think Auntie Claire could find herself a man?
I don't like the subject.
And here comes Julia, home from the wars, 4 Purple Hearts.
Why don't you just have another drink and stop it, Claire?
All right.
I have left Doug. We are not divorced.
Yet. You cooking another batch, Tobias? But you've come back home, haven't you? Didn't you with the others?
Where else am I supposed to go?
It's a great big world, baby. Hotels, new cities. Home is the quickest road to Reno I know of.
You have such a lot of experience in these matters, Claire.
Sidelines, good seats, right in the 50-yard line. Objective observers. I swear, if I didn't love my sister so, I'd say she got you hitched for the pleasure of getting you back.
All right.
That will do now.
Sorry.
They tell me in the kitchen. They tell me we are about to dine in a bit. Are we having a drink? I think one might be nice. It's one of those days when everything is underneath, but we are all together, which is something.
Quite a few of us.
Any news from up there?
No. I dropped upstairs. Well, that doesn't make much sense, does it? I happened upstairs, and I knocked at Harry and Edna's, Julia's room door, and after a moment I heard Harry say, "It's all right. We're all right." Well, I felt such an odd mixture of embarrassment and irritation and apprehension, I suppose, and fatigue. I didn't persevere.
Well, haven't they been out? I mean, haven't they eaten or anything?
Make me a thing, will you? A martini. I am told, they tell me, that while we were all out at our various, whatever they may be, Edna descended, asked them to make sandwiches, which were brought to the closed door and handed in.
Well, my God, I mean that...
There is no point in pressing it. They are very dear friends. They will tell us in good time.
I had a glimmer of it last night, thought I knew.
That which we see in the bottom of the glass is most often dregs.
Really, truly so. Are we having our dividend or are we not? All happy families are alike.
Well,
Well, look who's here.
Harry, just in time for a martini.
No, we're Julia, there you are.
Oh, Julia.
There's just time for a drink before dinner if my husband will hurry some.
No, we're going home now.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Well, if we were any help at all,
Get our things, our clothes and things.
Yes.
We'll be back after dinner, so don't...
An hour or two. It'll take us a while.
We'll let ourselves, don't bother.
I want my room back. I want my room.
I believe that dinner is served.
Yes.
If any of you have the stomach for it.
That was, without question, the ugliest dinner I've ever sat through.
What did you say? Now, what can you mean? Was the ragout not to your pleasure? Did the floating island sink? Watch what you say, for your father is proud of his wines.
No, you. Sitting there like a combination poke, but we will not discuss it. Claire, be still. No, Tobias, the table is not the proper place. Julia, nanny, like a nanny.
When we are dealing with children,
I must discover sometime who you think you are.
you will learn one day
No, more like a drill sergeant. You will do this, you will not do that.
to keep in shape. Have you heard the expression? Most people misunderstand it. Assume it means alteration when it does not. Maintenance. When we keep something in shape, we maintain its shape. Whether we are proud of that shape or not is another matter. We keep it from falling apart. We do not attempt the impossible. We maintain, we hold. I shall keep this family in shape. I shall maintain it, hold it.
Yes, sir.
And if I shout, it is merely to be heard above the awful din of your privacies and faults, all of you. I'm not being an ogre, am I?
No. No, very reasonable.
If I'm a stickler on certain points, a martinet, as Julia would have it, would you not, sweet? In fact, if I'm a stickler on points of manners, timing, tact, the graces, I almost blush to call them, it is simply that I'm the one member of this reasonably happy family, blessed and burdened with the ability to view a situation objectively while I am in it.
What time is it?
And if I must be the fulcrum, I think I shall have a divorce.
Of what? Of what?
No fear. Merely testing. Everything is taken for granted, and no one listens.
Have a divorce.
No, no. Julia has them for all of us. Not even separation. That is taken care of. And in life, the gradual demise of intensity, the private preoccupations, the substitutions. They become allegorical, my darling Tobias, as we grow older. The individuality we hold so dearly sinks into crotchet. We see ourselves repeated by those we bring into it all, either by mirror or rejection, honor or fault. I'm not a fool. I'm really not.
What's Claire up to?
Really, not at all.
No, really not.
Well, how would I know what she's up to?
Well, you are the fulcrum and all around here, the double vision, the great balancing act.
I dare say she's in her room.
At least she has one.
Why don't you run upstairs and claim your goddamn room back? Barricade yourself in there. Push your bureau in front of the door. Take Tobias's pistol while you're at it. Arm yourself.
Barricades? Pistols? Really? So soon?
Claire, will you take off that damn thing?
They laughed when I sat down to the accordion. Take it off? No, will not. This is going to be a festive night, by the smell of it, and Sister Claire wants to do her part. Pay her way, so to speak, justified.
You're not going to play that dreadful instrument in here. Tobias, do something about it.
Ma used to say, Claire girl. She had an uncle named Claire, so she always used to call me Claire girl.
That is not so.
Claire girl, she used to say, when you go out into the world, get dumped out of the nest or pushed out by your sister.
Lies. Even in her teens, your Auntie Claire had her own and very special ways. Was very advanced.
Had a ball, same as you. You know, your mummy got pudenda scuffed a couple of times herself. Of course, she met old Toby there, you know? Only I wasn't fused with socially proper remorse every time.
You're what?
My pudenda.
You can come on all forgetful in your old age, if you want to, but just remember...
I'm not an old woman. Am I?
Well, you're my old lady.
What'll it be?
Save it for Harry and Edna.
Save it for Harry and Ed. Save it for them?
Please.
All right. I'll unload. We're waiting, aren't we?
Huh?
Waiting. The room, the doctor's office, The beautiful unconcern, the intensive study of the dreadful curtains, the absorption in field and stream. Waiting for the biopsy. No? Don't know what I mean?
What about Harry and Edna?
I don't want to talk about
If they come back.
it.
If they come back, we will.
You only have two choices, sis. Take them in or throw them out.
How simple it is from the sidelines.
We'll do neither, I imagine. Take in, throw out.
Oh?
Well, yes, they're just passing through.
As they have been all these years.
Well, we shall know soon enough. They're back.
Yes?
I think I'll go up.
You'll stay right
I
here.
want to go to my room.
It is their room for the moment.
Among Doug's opinions, you might like to know, is that when you and your ilk are blown to pieces by a Chinese bomb, the world will be a better place.
Isn't ilk a lovely word?
Oh, come on now.
Well, it'll be a less crowded one.
You choose well, Julia.
That's what he says.
Have always. Did he include you as ilk as well? Will you be with us when the fatal mushroom comes, as those dirty boys put it? Are we to have the pleasure?
I'll be right here.
Agnes.
Would you like to know something else he says?
No, Julia.
Daddy?
Now, right this minute, Julia.
Claire, you.
Oh, come on, you know I'd like to hear about it. I'd love to, but Toby and Ag have got an invasion on their hands.
We have no such thing.
And maybe you'd better wait for Harry and Edna, too.
It does not concern Harry and Edna.
Best friends.
Tobias?
What will I do with everything?
Oh, for God's sake, I'll do it.
What? What do they want, Harry and Edna? I'll make Mother mad. Harry and Edna, what do they want?
Sucker.
Pardon?
Comfort. Warmth. Special room with a night light. Or the door ajar so they can look down the hall from the bed and see that Mummy has her door open.
That's my room.
It's the room. Happens you were in it. You're a visitor as much as anyone now.
And I know that room.
You home for good now? You home forever? Back from the world to the sadness and reassurance of your parents. You come to take my place.
This is my home.
We are not a communal nation, dear. Giving, but not sharing. Outgoing, but not friendly.
Hello.
Hello. We submerge our truths and have our sunsets on untroubled waters. Come on in, Edna.
Yes.
Do you think we can walk on the water, Edna, or do you think we sink?
We sing.
And we better develop gills, right?
Right. I didn't see you come in.
Well, we drove round the back. Harry's helping Agnes and Tobias get our bags upstairs.
Don't you mean that Agnes and Tobias are helping Harry?
If you like. What were you two up to?
I think Julia's home for good this time.
Christ's sake, Claire.
Oh, is it come to that?
I always said she would, finally.
This is family business.
Yes, but I don't think that Agnes and Tobias have seen it as clearly. I do wish Agnes would have those chairs recovered. Perhaps now that
Why don't you call the upholsterers now that you're living here?
All in the family.
You're not a child anymore, Julia. You're nicely on your way to 40. And you've not helped wedlock's image any with your shenanigans.
You are a guest in this house.
And if you have decided to return forever, then it's a matter of some concern for quite a few people.
You are a guest.
As you. For quite a few people whose lives are moved, if not necessarily touched by your actions. Claire, where does Agnes have her upholstery done? Does she use...
No!
Manners, young lady.
Julia, why don't you ask Edna if she'd like something?
No. You have no right here.
I'll have a cognac, Julia. My husband and I are your parents' best friends. We are, in addition, your godparents.
Does this give you rights?
Some.
Some. Rights and responsibilities. Some.
Hello, Harry. Come on in. Julia's about to fix us something. What would you like?
I'll do it. Don't trouble yourself, Julia.
no. No, don't you come near it. Don't you take a step.
Julia.
No! Let her do it, Harry. She wants to.
I don't want to.
Then I'll do it, Julia.
Mother? Mother!
Oh, honestly.
Mother!
Julia, will you let me do it? May I get the drinks?
Stay away from it. All of you.
Now, Julia.
Mother?
Come on. Now, Julia.
Oh.
Let her go, Harry.
Mother! Father! Help me!
Julia,
Help
shouting.
Mother?
What is it, dear?
They want.
Forget it, Julia.
For God's sake, forget it.
Want.
Perhaps you had better come upstairs.
Yes, where? What room?
Come up to my room. Lie down.
Your room.
No, you may lie down in our room if you prefer.
Your room. Your room. Mine. Don't you go near that.
Julia.
I want.
What do you want, Julia?
I want what is mine.
Well, then, my dear, you'll have to decide what that is, will you not?
Daddy. 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 Daddy.
I do believe that's the first time she's called on her father since her childhood.
And she used to skin her knees.
Yes. And she would come home bloody. I assumed she was clumsy, but it crossed my mind a time or two that she was religious.
Praying on the gravel. A penance.
Yes. Teddy had just died, I think. And it was an unreal time for a number of us. For me. Poor little boy.
Yes.
It was an unreal time. I thought Tobias was out of love with me, or rather, was tired of it when Teddy died, as if it had been the string.
Would you like something, Edna?
Mm-hmm. Things I doubted then, that I was loved, that I loved, for that matter. Teddy had ever lived at all. My mind, you see, that Julia would be with us long. I think I thought Tobias was unfaithful to me then. Was he, Harry?
Oh, Agnes.
Come on, Agnes. Of course not. No.
Was he, Claire? That hot summer with Julia's knees all bloody and Teddy dead. Did my husband cheat on me?
You got me, sis.
And that we'll have to do.
Poor Julia.
Julia's a fool. Make me a drink, will you, Harry? Since you're being Tobias, a scotch.
Sure thing. Claire?
Why not?
Claire could tell us so much if she cared to, could you not, Claire? Claire, who watches from the sidelines, has seen so very much, has seen us all so clearly, have you not, Claire? You were not named for nothing.
Lay off, sis.
What do you want?
I don't know what you mean.
What do you really want?
You gonna tell her, Harry?
I don't know what you mean, Claire. Scotch, was it, Agnes?
I said.
Yes, but I don't remember.
Don't talk to Harry like that.
I'm sorry, Edna. I forgot that you're very frightened people.
Don't you make fun of us.
My dear Edna, I'm not making...
Yes, you are. You are making fun of
I
us.
assure
Here's
you,
your
Edna.
drink.
I assure you.
Well, I think it's time for a little music, don't you, kids?
We don't want music, Claire.
I yodel a little, too, nowadays, if anybody...
You yodel.
Yes!
She yodels.
What would you like, Harry? A chorus of Take Me to the Greenhouse and Lay Me Down?
Claire.
I wonder if, before the concert, one of you wouldn't mind telling me why my daughter is upstairs in hysterics?
Envy, baby. She don't sing her nothing.
Please.
What was
Now, will any of you tell me why?
What was she doing?
I told you, she's in hysterics.
That is a condition. I inquired about an action.
Poor Julia.
I don't understand that girl.
An action? Is that what you want? Okay, how about pressed against the corner of the upstairs hall? Arms wide, palms back, eyes darting wide. How about tearing in Harry and Edna's room, ripping the clothes from the closets, hangers and all on the floor, the same for the bureaus?
I see.
More?
All right.
Or into your room next. Twisted on the bed, lots of breathing, the great wide eyes. The spread gathered under her, your big lace pillow in her arms like a lover. Eyes wide open, no tears now. Though if you go near, the sounds start, and you think she'll scream if you touch her. How's that?
Pretty good. And accurate, I imagine.
You're damn right. Now, why?
I was making myself a drink, for God's sake.
I asked her to make me something.
Come on now.
That sounds incomplete to you, Toby?
Somewhat.
Julia has been through a trying time, Tobias.
I suppose we did upset her some.
Of course.
Don't you think you should go tend to her?
No. She'll be down or she will not. She will stop or she will go on.
Well, for God's sake, Agnes.
I haven't the time, Tobias. I haven't time for the 4-hour talk, the soothing recapitulation. You don't go through it, my love, the history. Nothing is calmed by a pat on the hand, a gentle massage, or slowly combing the hair. The history, Teddy's birth, and how she felt unwanted, tricked, his death, and was she more relieved than lost? All the schools we sent her to, and did she fail in them through hate or love? And when we come to marriage, dear, each one of them. The fear, the happiness, the sex, the stopping, the infidelities.
All right, Agnes.
The comings home, the new resolves, departures. Oh, my dear Tobias, my life has gone through more than hers. I see myself growing old each time. My own life passing. No, I haven't time for it now. At midnight, maybe. When you're all in your beds, safely sleeping. Then I shall comfort our Julia and lose myself once more.
I tell you, there are so many martyrdoms here.
One to a person.
That is the usual. Though I do believe there are some with none, and others who have known Job. The helpless are the cruelest lot of all. They shift their burdens so.
If you interviewed a camel, he'd admit he loved his load.
I wish you two would stop having at each other.
Hell yes, let's have a drink.
Tobias?
Huh? What can I make you, buddy?
You've actually spoken your mind.
What can you make me?
I do, sometimes.
Sure, I'm here.
When an environment is not all that it might be.
Oh, yeah, scotch.
Is that for you to say?
Here we come.
Stop it, Blair, dear, I said. Is that for you to say?
Well, we must be helpful when we can, my dear. That is the responsibility, the double demand of friendship, is it not?
But when we are asked.
No. Not only. It seemed to me, well, to us, that since we are living here...
Living?
Living here.
Living here?
That's my cue.
Get them out of here, Daddy! Get them out of here! 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 Get them out of here!
Julia.
Get them out of here, Daddy.
All right. Julia, baby. Let's have it now.
Get them out of here, Daddy.
Come on now.
Get them out of here, Daddy.
You ought to be horsewhipped, young lady.
All right now.
Do it, Daddy. Oh, give it back.
Dare you come into this room like that? How dare you embarrass me and your father? How dare you frighten me?
Are you going?
Julia, please.
Are you? Going? No, we are not going.
No.
You see,
Coming down here with a gun like that.
you returned to your nest from your latest disaster, dispossessed, and suddenly dispossessing. You screamed the house down, claw it on.
Stop her!
Willful, wicked, wretched girl.
You have no rights.
We have rights here. We belong.
Mother.
We belong here, do we not?
Forever? Have you come to stay forever?
Oh, if need be. Sorry, a godmother's duty. If we come to the point, if we are at home one evening and the terror comes, descends, if all at once we need. We come where we are wanted, where we know we are expected. Not only where we want, we come where the table has been laid for us in such an event, where the bed is turned down and warmed and has been ready should we need it. We are not transients, like some.
No.
You have come to live with us, then?
Why, yes. We have.
Well, then, perhaps it is time for bed.
Julia? Mother?
Come upstairs with me. Let me comb your hair, rub your back, and we shall soothe and salve and fall asleep. Tobias?
Well, I think it's time for bed.
Well, yes, of course.
We know the way. Friendship is something like a marriage, is it not, Tobias? For better and for worse.
Sure.
We haven't come to the wrong place, have we?
Have we, Toby?
No. No. Of course you haven't.
Good night, dear Tobias. Good night, Claire.
Night, you two.
Night, old man.
Good night, you two.
Full house, Tobias. Every bed, every cupboard.
Good night, Claire.
You gonna stay up, Tobias? A sort of night watch guarding? I've done it. The breathing as you stand in the quiet hall, slow and heavy. Special warmth and permeation of a house asleep. When the house is sleeping, when the people are asleep.
Good night, Claire.
And the different breathing and the cold, when every bed is awake all night. Very still, eyes open, staring into the dark. You know that one?
Good night, Claire.
Good night, Tobias.
Ah, there you are.
7:30 a.m. All is well, I guess.
So odd.
Hmm?
There was a stranger in my room last night.
Who?
You.
Ah.
It was nice to have you there.
Hmm.
Le temps perdu. I've never understood that. Perdu means lost, not merely past. But it was nice to have you there. Though I remember when it was a constancy, how easily I would fall asleep, face my breathing to your breathing. And if we were touching, oh, what a splendid cocoon that was. But last night, what a shame, what sadness. You were a stranger, and I stayed awake.
I'm sorry.
Were you asleep at all?
No.
I would go half, then wake. Your unfamiliar presence, sir. I could get used to it again.
Yes?
I think.
Didn't have your talk with Julia.
No.
Your all-night lulling.
No, she wouldn't let me stay. Look to your own house, is what she said. You stay down long?
When?
After? Before you came to bed?
Some. I almost went to my room by habit, by mistake, rather. And then I realized that your room's my room because my room is Julia's, because Julia's room is...
Yes. And, I was awake when you left my room again.
You could have said.
I felt shy.
Hmm.
Did you go to Claire?
I never go to Claire.
Did you go to Claire to talk?
I never go to Claire.
We must always envy someone. We should not be jealous of those who have so much less. You and Claire make so much sense together, talk so well.
I never go to Claire at night or talk with her alone, save publicly.
In public rooms like this?
Yes.
Have never?
Please?
I shall start missing you when you move from my room again. If you do. I had stopped, I believe.
Oh, you're an honest woman.
Well, we need one in every house.
It's very strange to be downstairs in a room where everyone has been and is gone, very late, after the heat has gone. The furnace and the bodies. The hour or so before the sun comes up, the furnace starts again. It's rather godlike, if I may presume, to look at it all, reconstruct with such detachment. See yourself, you, Julia, look at it all, play it out again, watch.
Judge.
No, that's being in it, watch. And if you have a drink or two...
Did you?
Mm-hmm. And if you have a drink or two, very late, in the quiet, tired, the mind lets loose.
Mm-hmm.
And you watch it as it reasons, and all with a kind of grateful delight, and at the same time sadly, because you know that when the daylight comes, the pressures will be on. And all the insights won't be worth a damn.
And what did you decide?
You can sit and watch. You can have so clear a picture, see everyone moving through his own jungle, and insight into all the reasons, all the needs.
Good. And what did you decide?
Why is the room so dirty? Can't we have better servants? Some help who help?
They keep far better hours than we, that's all. They're a comment on our habits, a reminder that we are out of step. That is why we pay them so very, very much. Neither a servant nor a master bee, remember?
I remember
when you were very young and lived at home and the servants were awake whenever you were. 6 a.m. for your breakfast when you wanted it, 5 in the morning when you came home drunk, and 17 washing the vomit from the car, and you telling no one, stealing just enough each month by arrangement with the stores to keep them in a decent wage. Generations of them, the laundress blind and always dying, the cook who did a better dinner drunk than sober. Those servants, those days when you were young and lived at home.
Mm.
Well, my darling, You are not young now, and you do not live at home.
Where do I live?
The dark sadness, yes?
What are we going to do?
What did you decide?
Nothing.
Well, you must. Your house is not in order, sir. It's full to bursting.
Yes. You've got to help me here.
No, I don't think so.
No?
No. I thought a little last night, too, while you were seeing everything so clearly here. I lay in the dark, and I revisited our life. The years and years. There are many things a woman does. She bears the children, if there is that blessing. Blessing? Yes, I suppose. Even with the sadness. She runs the house, for what that's worth. Makes sure there's food and not just anything, and decent linen. Looks well. Assumes whatever duties are demanded if she is in love or loves, and plans.
I know.
But there are things we do not do.
Yes?
Yes, we don't decide the route.
You are copping out, as
No,
they
indeed.
say. Yes, you are.
Don't you yell at me.
You're copping out.
We follow. We let our men decide the moral issues.
Never. You've never done that in your life.
Always, my darling. Whatever you decide, I'll make it work. I'll run it for you. So you'll never know there's been a change in anything.
No.
So, let me know.
I know I'm tired. I know I've hardly slept at all. I know I've sat down here and thought.
And made your decisions?
But I have not judged, I told you that.
Well, when you have, you let me know.
No!
You'll wake the house.
I'll wake the house!
This is not the time for you to lose control.
I'll lose control! I've sat down here in the cold, in the empty cold. I've sat here alone. I've looked at everything, all of it. I thought of you, Julia, and Claire.
And Edna and Harry.
Well, of course, what do you think?
I don't know. I'm listening.
Morning. I don't suppose, shall I make some coffee?
Why don't you do that, darling?
Morning, Julie.
Sorry about last night, Daddy.
Ah, well, now.
I mean, I'm sorry for having embarrassed you.
Coffee.
Aren't you sorry for embarrassing me, too?
Well, isn't it nice that Julia's making coffee? No? If they help her out. Isn't it nice to have a daughter who can put a pot to boil?
Aren't you sorry for embarrassing me, too?
You have a problem there with Julia.
I have a problem.
But at least you have your women round you, crowded round, firm arm support. That must be a comfort to you. Most explorers go alone, don't have their families with them. Pitching tents, tending the fire, shooing off the antelopes or the bears or whatever.
Aren't you sorry for embarrassing me, too?
Are you quoting?
Yes.
Next we'll have my younger sister with us. Another porter for the dreadful trip. Claire has never missed a chance to participate in watching. She'll be here. We'll have us all.
You'll all sit down and watch me carefully, smoke your pipes and stir the cauldron. Watch.
Yes.
You who make all the decisions really rule the game.
That's an illusion you have.
You'll all sit here, too early for anything, on this stupid Sunday. All of you, and dare me when it's just as much your choice as mine.
Each time that Julia comes, each clockwork time, you send her back. You tell her, Julia, go home to your husband. Try it again. Do you? No. You let it slip. It's your decision, sir.
It is not.
And I must live with it, resign myself. One marriage more and wait and hope that Julia's motherhood will come one day, one marriage. I'm almost too old to be a grandmother, as I'd hoped too young to be one. Oh, I'd wanted that. The youngest older woman on the block. Julia's almost too old to have a child properly, will be, if she ever does. If she marries again. You could have pushed her back if you'd wanted to.
It's very early yet. That must be it. I have never heard such...
Or Teddy. No stammering here. You'll let this pass.
Please.
When Teddy died, we could have had another son. We could have tried. But no. Those months, or was it a year?
No more of this.
I think it was a year when you spilled yourself on my belly, sir. Please, please, Tobias. But no, you wouldn't even say it out. I don't want another child, another loss. Please, please, Tobias. And guiding you, trying to hold you in.
Agnes, please.
Don't leave me then like that. Not again, Tobias, please. I can take care of it. We won't have another child, but please, don't leave me like that. Such silent, sad, disgusted love.
I didn't want you to have to...
Sir?
I didn't want you to have to, you know...
Oh, that was thoughtful of you. Like a pair of adolescents in a rented room or in the family car. Doubtless you hated it as much as I.
Yes.
But wouldn't let me help you.
No.
Which is why you took to your own sweet room instead.
Yes.
The theory being, Pat, that half a loaf is worse than none. That you are racked with guilt, stupidly. And I must suffer for it.
Yes.
Well, was your decision, was it not?
Yes.
And I have made the best of it. Have lived with it. Have I not?
What are we going to do about everything?
Whatever you like, naturally.
Morning, kids.
All I can do is run it for you and forecast.
Morning, Claire.
Julia's in the kitchen making coffee, Claire.
Which means I guess I go watch Julia grind the beans and drip the water. I tell you, she's a real pioneer, that girl. Coffee pot in one hand and pistol in the other.
Claire's a comfort in the early morn, I've been told.
Yes?
That is what I have been told.
Shall I ask them to leave?
Who?
Harry and Edna?
For a moment, I thought you meant Julia and Claire.
No, Harry and Edna. Shall I throw them out?
Harry is your very best friend, and the...
Yes, and Edna is yours. Well?
You'll have to live with it either way. Do or don't.
Well, then why don't I throw Julia and Claire out? Why don't I throw the whole bunch out?
Or get rid of me. That would be easier. Rid yourself of the Harridan. And you can run your mission, take out sainthood papers.
I think you're stating an opinion, a preference.
But if you do get rid of me, you'll no longer have your life the way you want it.
But that's not all the choice I've got, is it?
Well, I don't care very much what choice you've got, my darling. But I am concerned with what choice you make.
Ready?
Here are the helpmeets. What would we do without them?
The coffee's instant, I'm afraid. Couldn't find a bean. Those folk must lock 'em up before they go to bed. Pop? Let's clear away some of the debris, huh?
Pop.
It's true. We cannot drink our coffee amidst the sea of last night's glasses. Tobias, do be a help.
I didn't have to do a thing, thank God for pre-squeezed orange juice.
There, that's much better, isn't it?
Whatever you say, Julie.
Now, I'll play waiter, sis.
Thank you, Claire.
Little Julie?
Just put it down beside me, Claire. I'm pouring, you can see.
Pop?
Thank you, Claire.
Well, yours is here, daughter, when you've done with playing early morning hostess.
Thank you, Claire.
Now one for little Claire.
Why don't you have some vodka in it, Claire, to start the Sunday off?
Now, all of you, sit down. Shut up. I want to talk to you.
Did I give you sugar,
Be quiet, Julia.
Yes.
I want to talk to you.
Well, go on, Tobias.
You too, Claire, please. Now, something happened here last night. And I don't mean Julia's hysterics
If you
with the gun. Be quiet, Julia. Although I do mean that in part. I mean Harry and Edna coming here. Yes, do you want to say something, Julia? No? I came down here. And I sat all night, hours. And I did something rather rare for this family. I thought about something.
I'm sorry, Tobias, but that's not fair.
I thought. I sat down here and thought about all of us and everything. Now, Harry and Edna have come to us and asked for help.
That is not true.
Be quiet, Julia.
That is not true. They have not asked for anything.
Please, Julia.
They have told. They've come in here and ordered.
Just like the family.
Asked. If you're begging and you've got your pride.
If you're begging, then you may not have your pride.
I don't think that's true, Julia.
Oh, Julie wouldn't know. Ask me.
Those people have no right.
No right. All these years. We've known them ever since, for God's sake, Julia. These people are our friends.
Then take them in. Take these intruders in.
Look, baby, didn't you get the message on rights last night? Didn't you learn about intrusion, what the score is, who belongs?
You bring those people in here, Father, and I'm leaving.
Yes?
I don't mean coming and going, Father. I mean as family.
Harry and Edna are our friends.
They are intruders.
Crisis. Sure brings out the best in us, eh, Tobe? Family circle. Julia standing there asserting the perpetual brat. Maybe ready to pull a Claire. And poor Claire, not much help there either. And look at Agnes, talky Agnes, ruler of the roost, maitre d' and licensed wife. Silent. All cozy, coffee. Thinking of the menu for the week, planning. Poor Tobe.
I was merely waiting until I'd heard and thought a little, listened to the rest of you. I thought someone should sit back, especially me. Ruler of the roost, licensed wife, midnight nurse. And I've been thinking about Harry and Edna, about disease.
About what?
About disease.
Oh, for God's sake.
About disease, or if you like, the terror.
Terror?
Yes, the terror or the plague. They're both the same. Let me tell you something about disease, mortal illness. You either are immune to it or you fight it. 10 centuries ago, and even less, the treatment was quite simple. Burn them. Burn their bodies, burn their houses, burn their clothes, and move to another town. If you were enlightened, but now with modern medicine, we merely isolate, we quarantine, we ostracize if we are not immune ourselves unless we are saints. So your midnight vigil, darling, your reasoning in the cold, pure hours have been over the patient and not the disease. It is not Edna and Harry who have come to us, dear friends. It is a disease.
Oh, for God's sake, Agnes, it is our friends. What am I supposed to do? Say, look, you can't stay here, you two. You've got trouble. You're friends and all, but you come in here clean? Well, I can't do that, no. Agnes, for God's sake, if that is all Harry and Edna have meant to us, then what about us? When we talk to each other, what have we meant? Anything? When we touch, when we promise, or say yes, or please, with ourselves, have we meant yes, but only if? If there's any condition, Agnes, then it's all been empty.
Perhaps. But blood binds us. Blood holds us together when we've no more deep affection for ourselves than others. I'm not asking you to choose between your family and our friends.
Yes, you are.
I am merely saying that there is disease here. And I ask you, who in this family is immune?
I am. I've had it, and I'm still alive, I think.
Claire is the strongest of us all. The walking wounded often are the least susceptible. But think about the rest of us. Are we immune to it? The plague, my darling, the terror sitting in the room upstairs. Well, if we are, then on with it. And if we are not, well, why not be infected? Why not die of it? We're bound to die of something soon or in a while. Or shall we burn them out, rid ourselves of it all, and wait for the next invasion? You decide, my darling.
Good morning.
Ah, you're up.
Good morning, Edna. Harry.
Harry would like to talk to Tobias. I think they should be alone, perhaps.
Of course. Why don't we go in the kitchen and make a proper breakfast?
No, you don't need.
Yes, we want you to have your talk. Tobias,
Yeah.
we'll be nearby. Did you sleep well, Edna? Did you sleep at all? I've never had that in bed, but I know that when...
Oh, hey, look at them go. They got out of here quick enough. You think there was a... Morning, Tobias.
Morning, Harry.
You know what I'd like to do? Something I've never done before in my life, except once when I was about 24.
No, what?
Have a drink before breakfast. Is it all right?
Sure.
Will you join me?
I guess so, yes. There isn't any ice.
Well, then just some whiskey, neat.
Brandy.
Oh, God, no.
Whiskey, then.
Yes, thank you.
Well, here's to youth again.
Yeah. Doesn't taste too bad in the morning, does it?
No, but I've had some before.
When?
Earlier, 3, 4, while you all were asleep or whatever you were doing.
You were awake, huh?
Yes.
I slept a little. God.
What?
You know what I did last night?
No.
I got out of bed and I crawled in with Edna.
Yes.
She held me, let me stay a while. Then I could see she wanted to, and I didn't, so I went back. It was funny.
Yeah.
Do, you, like Edna, Tobias?
Well, sure, I'd like it, Harry.
Now, Tobias, about last night and yesterday and our coming here, I was talking to Edna about it last night, and I said, sorry.
I said I sat down here and I thought about it, Harry, and I talked to Agnes, too, before you all came down, and God, I don't know, Harry, we can make it if you want us to. I can. I mean, I think I can.
No, we're going, Tobias.
I don't know what help. I don't know how.
I said we're going.
Yes, but you're going.
Sure.
But you can try it here, or we can. God, I don't know, Harry. You can't go back there. You've got to.
Got to what? Sell the house, buy another, move to the club?
You came here.
Do you want us here, Tobias?
You came here.
Do you want us here?
You came here.
Do you want us here? Edna and I... there's so much over the dam. So many disappointments, evasions. I guess lies, maybe. So much we remember we wanted once. So little that we settled for. We talk, sometimes, mostly no. We don't like. Sure, we like, but I've always been a little shy, gruff, you know, shy. And Edna isn't happy, I suppose that's it. We like you, and Agnes, well, and Claire and Julia, too, but I guess I mean, I like you and you like me, I think. And you're our best friends. But I told Edna upstairs, I said, Edna, what if they had come to us? She didn't say anything. And I said, Edna, if they had come to us like this, and even though we don't have Julia and all that, Edna, I wouldn't take them in. I wouldn't take them in, Edna. They don't have any right. She said, yes, I know they wouldn't have the right. Toby, I wouldn't let you stay. You don't want us, do you, Toby? You don't want us here. Want? What? Do I what? Do I want? Oh. Do I want you here? You come in here with your wife and with your terror. And you ask me, do I want you here? Yes. Of course I want you here. I built this house. I want you in it. I want your plague. You have some terror with you bring it in. Bring it in. You got the entree, buddy. You don't need a key. You got the entree, buddy, 40 years. You don't need to ask me, Harry. Won't ask. You come for dinner, don't you? Come for cocktails. See you at the club on Saturdays, and you talk and lie and laugh with us and pat old Agnes on the hand, and you say, don't know what old Tobe would do without her, and we've known each other all these years, and we love each other, don't we? Don't we? Don't we love each other? Doesn't friendship grow to that, to love? Doesn't 40 years amount to anything? We've cast our lot together, boy. We're friends. We've been through lots of thick or thin together. Which is it, boy? Which is it, boy? Thick, thin? Well, whatever it is, we've been through it, boy. You don't have to ask. I like you, Harry. I really do. I don't.
like Edna, but that's not half the point. I like you fine. I find my liking you has limits, but those are my limits, not yours. The fact I like you well enough, but not enough, that best friend in the world should be something else more, well, that's my poverty. So, bring your wife, bring your terror, bring your plague. Bring your plague. I don't want you here. You asked. No, I don't. But by Christ, you're gonna stay here. You got the right. The right. You know the word? The right. You put nearly 40 years in it, baby. So have I. And if it's nothing, I don't give a damn. You've got the right to be here. You've earned it. And by God, you're gonna take it. Do you hear me? You bring your terror, and you come in here, and you live with us. You bring your plague, and stay with us. I don't want you here. I don't love you. But by God, you stay. 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 Please, stay. Stay. Please. Stay.
Harry, will you bring our bags down? Maybe Tobias will help you. Will you ask him?
Sure. Would you help us with the bags, old man? Upstairs.
Well, Harry, he's not a callous man for all his bluff. He came to my bed last night, got in with me. I let him stay and talk. I let him think I wanted to make love. It pleases him, I think, to know he would be wanted if he said to me, he lay there in the dark with me, this man, and he said to me, very softly, like a little boy, rather, do they love us? Do they love us, Edna? Oh, I let a silence go by. Well, as much as we love them, I should think. The hair on his chest is very gray and soft. Would we let them stay, Edna? Almost a whisper, then still again. Well, I hope he told Tobias something simple, something to help. We mustn't press our luck, must we? Test. It's sad to come to the end of it, isn't it? Nearly the end. So much more of it gone by than left, and still not know, still not have learned the boundaries, what we may not do, not ask for fear of looking in a mirror. We shouldn't have come.
Edna.
No, for our own sake, our own lack. It's sad to know you've gone through it all, or most of it, without... that the one body you've wrapped your arms around, the only skin you've ever known is your own, and that it's dry. and not more. What will you do, Julia? Will you be seeing Douglas?
I haven't thought about it. I don't know. I doubt it.
Time. Time happens, I suppose, to people. Everything becomes too late, finally. You know it's going on up on the hill. You can see the dust and hear the cries. But you wait. And time happens. When it will go. Sword, shield, finally. There's nothing there but rust, bones, and the wind. I'm sorry about the coffee, Edna. The help must steal the beans, the maids, or take them with them when they go to bed.
No, coffee and wine, they're much the same with me. I can't tell good from bad.
Would anybody besides Claire care for a drink?
Oh, really, Claire?
Edna?
Oh, good heavens, Claire, thank you, no.
Julia.
All right, I will. Thank you.
I think I hear the men.
We'll just take these down to the car now.
Thank you, Agnes. You've been, well, just thank you. We'll be seeing you.
Oh, yes, well, don't be strangers.
How could I be? Our lives are the same. Julia, think a little.
I will, Edna. I'm fond of marriage.
Darling Claire, do be good.
I'll try to be quiet.
I'm going into town on Thursday, Agnes. Would you like to come?
Well, I don't think so, Edna. I've so much to do.
Well, perhaps another week?
Oh, yes, we'll do it.
All done? All set.
Hurry, my darling. Take good care.
Thank you, Agnes. And you too, Julia. You be good.
Goodbye, Harry.
Bye, Harry. See you around.
Sure thing, Claire.
Bye, Tobias. Thank you.
Bye, man. Thank you, old man.
Please stay.
See you at the club. Well, Edna?
Drive carefully. It's Sunday.
Bye.
Thank you.
Well, here we all are. You all right, my darling?
Sure.
Your daughter has taken to drinking in the early morning, I hope you'll notice.
Oh. I had one here somewhere, one with Harry. Oh, here it is.
I would seem to have 3 early morning drinkers. I hope it won't become a club. We'd have to get a license, would we not?
Just think of it as very late at night.
All right, I will.
I tried. I was honest. Didn't I? Wasn't I?
You were very honest, Father, and you tried.
Didn't I try, Claire? Wasn't I honest?
Sure you were. You tried.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
What I find most astonishing, aside from my belief that I will one day lose my mind, but when? Never, I begin to think as the years go by. Or that I'll not know if it happens, or maybe even has. What I find most astonishing, I think, is the wonder of daylight, of the sun. All the centuries, millenniums, all the history. I wonder if that's why we sleep at night. Because the darkness still frightens us. They say we sleep to let the demons out, to let the mind go raving mad, our dreams and nightmares, all our logic gone awry, the dark side of our reason. And when the daylight comes again, comes order with it. Poor Edna and Harry. Well, they're safely gone. And we'll all forget quite soon. Come now. We can begin the day